It's a Saturday afternoon. We're going to jump into this starting up soon. We're going to be talking about Empower DC. It's a rideshare company here in DC, and they're looking to, DC is looking to ban the actual company here. Let me get my cameras right. Yeah, DC is looking to ban the actual company. So that'll be interesting. And we're going to talk about that. And then we'll talk about the other issue that we had there was Trump and his little tete-a-tete with the immigrants there. So let's jump right into this. The first thing we're going to talk about is the Empower DC. It's a rideshare company here in DC. Let me pull that up on the screen here. There's a video where they're talking about banning the company.
Well, Susan, the district is warning commuters a rideshare company is out there operating in the city illegally, and riders should take precautions before they use that service. The rideshare company is called Empower. Tonight, only on 4, transportation reporter Adam Tuss is tracking down both drivers and the company's CEO to get some answers.
We're all familiar with Uber and Lyft. Even Alto is now a registered rideshare company. But Empower, based in McLean, has not registered with the district and was issued a cease and desist order from the city. Yet as we found out today, you can still download the Empower app and order a ride. Watch what happened when we ordered and then tried to talk to one of the Empower drivers about it all.
Is there like a sticker or anything that says Empower on your car?
The issue, according to DC's Department of For-Hire Vehicles, is safety. The agency sending us this statement saying, since Empower refuses to register, riders have no way to know if their drivers are safe, insured, and will take them to their destination. Additionally, riders have no way to...
You know what's interesting about this is, as it stands now with Uber, the drivers really stand all the risk in that they don't know who they're going to pick up. So it seems that the risk is kind of shifted the other way around here.
To make complaints. Well, in addition as well, registered rideshare companies also have to pay certain charges and fees that go to the district, like a percentage of trips that go to fund public transportation. Empower is appealing this cease and desist order and says it's a different kind of company because it's not transportation. Rather, it's just a software platform that drivers can subscribe to. And because of that, 100% of the profit of the trip goes to the driver. Joshua Sear, the CEO of Empower.
That's an interesting concept there.
Joining us via Zoom.
What's the reason why you guys haven't registered with the city?
Yeah, I mean, the same reason that Expedia doesn't register with the FAA, or that, OpenTable doesn't register with the local health inspectors.
He says drivers on his platform agree to provide results of background checks.
That the drivers who are choosing to drive for themselves in competition with Uber and Lyft, who want to build their own business, pursue the American dream, that those drivers, in fact, are arguably potentially safer.
Meanwhile, some commuters see this company as another disruptor in an industry that's already caused so much disruption.
Maybe entrepreneurial in some sense, and with inflation, I think it's maybe a natural backlash against Uber, who took the first swing to begin with.
As for the district, it says anyone caught by an inspector driving for Empower.
So there are inspectors running around looking for private cars that aren't breaking laws, just transporting people.
Will have their vehicle impounded immediately. In the district, Adam Tuss, News 4.
Empower says recently they've been providing more than 200,000 trips per month in the D.C. area.
I've known someone that took Empower recently, and that's what got me to talk about this. And so who is Empower? Here's Empower here.
Unequivocally, do not mention the prosecution. Here's a quote. On an objection, you overrule. The prosecution accepts their witness committing perjury.
So let's take a look at their Empower DC.
Of people
I want to hear it. I want to take a look at it. They have a SoundCloud here. They do a podcast weekly. So who is Empower DC? We saw the CEO there. And here's the company, Empower DC, organizing community power since 2003, advance racial, economic, and environmental justice by investing in the leadership and organized political power of DC's lowest income residents. It's about them, so we'll see a little bit more about them. Power DC, so on and so forth. So basically, it's kind of a black run, poor run, basically like a ride share. We'll see what they do here. That's Marion Barry right there. I don't know if you saw that. Let me close this. You see it very briefly, Marion Barry. That's Marion Barry right there, right there in the brown coat there. Enough of that. And so I saw a post on Nextdoor, and I think I have to share it from my phone because I can't show it here. Here's a post from Nextdoor here, talking about shutting the Empower down. And so this is someone that posts here, and they posted Nextdoor saying, you know, this company basically being threatened by Muriel Bowser, so on and so forth. And many of the people, as you'll see here, are kind of against Empower. And maybe it's 50-50 split, but either way it goes, you'll see that the people are very pro-government here. And this is a very liberal city and very pro-government. You see this one person's asking, are they licensed? Do they think they can just start a service without the legal requirements? So on and so forth. Like what Uber did, someone responded, yeah, pretty sure it has nothing to do with the competition. Licensing issues is one of the ways the government picks winners and losers. That's interesting. And that was me there. I think that was me. No, that's not me. No system is perfect or immune. They're just doing what they did when they launched in DC. And Uber had to get licensed, business permits, things like that. But this company is saying they basically just provide messages. And Uber, in my opinion, really stifles someone from starting their own business. You don't know who your customer is. You're just picking up some random character, and that person doesn't know you, so they have no incentive to ever call you back. You don't have a customer. You just have a pickup, a message to pick someone up. So probably not very different than what Empower is doing. But it seems like Empower is charging a subscription to the drivers to be a part of the service. Company has not legally registered. So all these people want their company to legally register when all they're doing is sending around messages to drivers to go pick someone up, which is more or less what Uber does here. Moving on to the next topic here. Here's a topic, we talked about this on the stream, about the Indian professors and how I think that the Indian professors are causing many of our young, bright Americans to move away from STEM. I know someone in particular that moved away from STEM because of the poor language, the accents of the Indian professors. I experienced it quite a bit while working in corporate America. You couldn't really understand what the people were saying. You're double checking. You didn't want to ask them more than once, hey man, did you say this? Did you say that? And so I imagine the same thing, I know the same thing applies with young teens. They're not very sure of themselves, and they having to ask questions, and maybe you're feeling a little stupid asking the same question over and over again because primarily you did not understand what he said. And Trump highlighted that here. You'll see
charges. We charge them. So
let me see if we can go to that. Let's see if we go to Trump's speaking to the Indians, and it really highlighted what I must imagine goes on in the educational schools all around the country here. Let's take a look.
To extradite the Habu
Take a
Rana
listen
to
here.
I can't understand.
Do you think that should continue here in the US as well?
You're going to have to go louder.
Mr. President, people in India would be welcoming your decision to extradite the Habu Rana to...
I can't understand a word he's saying.
May I, sir? May I? May I, sir?
So Trump is saying, I can't understand the words you're saying. The guy's speaking very low. He said, first time he told him, hey, you have to go louder. And that's one of the things you'll see oftentimes with the Indian professors, and well, definitely in the workplace where I work with them. Maybe they weren't sure of themselves, so they speak in a very low tone. They'd be like, hey, speak up, man. I can't understand what the hell you're saying. I can't even hear what the hell you're saying, let alone understand it. And then here's another clip here, which...
and it is evident that
again, if you're in college, you'll see what Trump has here. Let's see.
Say about the Bangladesh issue, because we saw, and it is evident that how the deep state of United States was involved in regime change during the Biden administration. Then Muhammad Yunus made junior...
So what's going on here is this guy right here in the black suit. He's listening to the Indian guy for his accent, and then he's translating it to Trump in English. So this is an English to English translation here, and Trump is going to respond back in English. Now, many college students don't have this, the ability to have a translator to translate the English being spoken by their professor to them. They just got to deal with it, suck it up, and do the best they can.
Also, so what is your point of view about the Bangladesh?
And what is the role that the deep state played in the situation in Bangladesh?
Well, there was no role for our deep state. It was. This is something that the Prime Minister's been working on for a long time and has been worked on for hundreds of years, frankly. I've been reading about it. But I will leave Bangladesh to the Prime Minister.
Say about the Bangladesh issue, because we saw and it is evident that how the deep state of the United States was involved in regime change during the Biden.
Just the faculties all over America. You just look at a lot of the Indian professors and a lot of these STEM majors here. Just look at the names here: Agarwal, Adib, Agarwal, AI, computer architecture. Mohammed, Saman, Hari, AI. Then you go down here, you get one professor, he's programming languages, security, another American, but then you got again another Chandrakasan. And these are the professors that young Americans have to struggle through the language barrier to pursue their STEM degree. And I think it's going to be I think it is very, very difficult for them. As Sam I Am mentioned when he was on stream with Stanley and I. Again, the list goes on and on. A lot of foreign people, these young Americans, maybe from small towns, are going to have to kind of weed through these language barriers here. And on it goes. And then Sam I Am said, and I can, more or less confirm what he's saying is that you're hoping for the American professor, this guy, he's probably a pretty good teacher. At the minimum, you can understand what he's saying here. And that was that. So that's my thoughts on how the Indians are having an effect on STEM and STEM education in America is that I think many Americans are just having a hard time even understanding what the hell their professors are saying. And they're coming away with a loss of confidence and changing their majors away from STEM. And I don't think it's an intelligence matter. The citizens in America, the young kids in America, I think it's just a matter of the language barrier. I know it was for me. And here's something interesting coming out of Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C., right outside of D.C., there's a large convention center and pretty profitable, I would say. They host these CPAC conventions and things like that. And so they spend a lot of money on security and stuff like that. A lot of thought has gone into developing this place. And
here's are over 18, but they don't think it's
happening today. A juvenile curfew is coming back to National Harbor. That means unaccompanied minors will not be allowed in that area throughout certain hours of the day and night. Fox 5's Melanie Allick is live at National Harbor this morning with more on why police are bringing back this curfew.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, and I just got a little bit more clarification from some of the reps at National Harbor. So what they tell me is these curfew applications are generally good for 6 months at a time. And, theirs had lapsed a little bit. There had been a couple of what they described as minor flare-ups here recently, which reminded them they needed to renew that application, especially as we're going to eventually start getting into the warmer months. So it begins at 5 p.m., continues to 5 a.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. For anyone under the age of 17, they must be accompanied by a parent or guardian here on National Harbor property. Now, let's take you back in time. You remember that scene in April of 2024 that prompted the Prince George's County Council to pass the legislation allowing for these special curfew zones. Hundreds of young people swarmed the street corners of National Harbor. There was fighting, shoplifting, and other behaviors that made residents, businesses, and visitors feel unsafe. In announcing this new curfew, Prince George's County Police said the juvenile crowds were increasing again and that the restrictions were at the request of residents and businesses.
The juvenile crowds.
Now, there are some exceptions. That includes if these juveniles are accompanied by someone over 21 who is authorized by their parent or guardian, on a sidewalk of their own or a neighbor's residence with approval, returning directly home from school, a job, or activities, and attending an event at the Gaylord and leaving National Harbor directly. There was a big convention here at National Harbor this weekend as well, and I did ask if that would have an impact on any young people coming. What I was told is generally the people attending this convention are over 18.
Yeah, I have an Airbnb guest that is attending this convention. I think she's working the convention.
But they don't think it's going to have much of an impact. They're, again, don't know how long this one's going to be in place, probably another 6 months until it gets renewed. Usually, if a minor is caught, if it's a first offense, there would be just a warning. But if it continues, their parent or guardian could be subject of a fine up to $250.
Could be subject. Probably not, though. Probably
Starting
not.
tonight, National Harbor is enforcing a curfew for teens who are out without an adult. So the new curfew just taking effect. Julie Donaldson joins us live. Julie, we've seen this before. Why are they doing this again?
Well, it's out of growing concern from residents.
Nice looking lady, by the way.
And businesses. So officials choosing to be proactive as opposed to reactive. So in designated areas here at National Harbor, restrictions will go into effect tonight for the weekend on Friday and Saturdays. It's in hopes of keeping teens 16 or younger off the streets. Now, the time frame is going to be from 5 p.m. until 5 a.m., where minors must be accompanied.
What we're noticing here now is that the parents do not set curfews anymore. It is the government, and maybe it's going to be left to businesses that can control the property here. Like this Gaylord is a company that they control most of the property here, all the access ways, so they can control the flow of traffic and stuff like that. And so they apply to the government for a permit, and I imagine that other companies will be doing something very similar.
Accompanied by a parent, a guardian, or a designated adult of 21 or over. The penalty for violating the curfew are fines up to $250. Now, there's a few exceptions. They are allowed on the sidewalks in front of their homes or the next door neighbor, as long as there are no complaints made to the police. Now, if you remember, there was an issue last spring where a crowd of around 800 youth got out of control. And according to officials, they were fighting, shoplifting, smoking, and engaging in other criminal activity. And the community doesn't want to see that happen again.
Our National Harbor partners, they looked at something before and said it's time to implement it again, just to make sure that it's safe for the residents who live there, who work there, to the place where many visitors come to be entertained. We just want to make sure that it is a wholesome environment that is the signature flagship of our beautiful county.
Now, officials will continue to monitor the situation and make adjustments as they see needed, but the police chief stresses that parents and kids, they take responsibility for their actions, saying that they are in control of not only keeping the kids safe, but the area welcome for visitors as well. Sharon?
We'll see how this plays out.
And this National Harbor, they spend quite a bit of money out there, quite a bit of money on security and trying to maintain the place. So it'll be interesting to see how it all works out there. But again, it's just one of those things to be brave about. We talk about quite a bit here is that, people are going out of their way to inconvenience everyone else because the children are out of control. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining. Hope you enjoyed this. Make sure you like and subscribe. And make sure you support our hosts, HB, Stanley Cross, Get Crack, me, John Gall, and our wonderful editor, Portia J.